You find yourself surrounded by an abyss of emotional darkness, an emptiness that consumes all your energy, as if you are lost in an endless tunnel. Every step you take seems to echo into a profound void, where the sound of your own voice is muffled by the weight of sadness, by the density of what you carry inside. No matter how hard you try to hold on to what once made sense, your hands slip, and things that once were clear are now indistinct smudges. Nothing seems certain anymore. It feels as though you're being carried by an invisible current, pulling you down, draining your hope, your energy, and your understanding. The chaos, once a distant threat, now walks beside you, like an uncomfortable and inevitable companion. It is present in every thought, every breath, and you find yourself its prisoner, trapped in an unsustainable loop of uncertainties. Despair is not just a fleeting emotion, but a constant presence, wrapped in a dense fog of confusion. Every doubt that arises feeds this darkness, as if simply questioning your own existence is another burden, another stone in your soul. The losses are like sharp blades that cut deep, leaving scars you can't ignore. What was lost seems more significant than what remains. Relationships that are gone, dreams that disintegrated, plans that never materialized. These losses feel like invisible chains, tugging at you with every movement, dragging you back to a place where nothing seems possible, where hope is a word too distant to reach. And then there's the existential crisis. The moment when you question everything. Who you are, what you're doing, what the true purpose behind everything you've experienced and will yet experience is. These questions don't arise from innocent curiosity, but from a deep place of searching and anguish, a place where you desperately try to find meaning amidst the chaos. You feel as if you are merely existing, not living. The colors of the world seem to fade, and each day drags on without a clear purpose, without a reason to keep moving forward. Everything around you seems to be falling apart, and no matter how hard you try to hold on to something, nothing offers a solid foundation. What seemed certain yesterday is now a question mark. People who once supported you now seem distant, or incapable of understanding the weight you carry. The comforting words that once echoed in your mind now sound empty, as if they can't reach the abyss inside you. You feel alone, lost, misunderstood, as if the world is disintegrating around you and you don't know how to rebuild it. This is the heart of emotional darkness, a place where despair and loneliness intertwine, creating a feeling that there is no way out, that you are trapped in an invisible prison. Everything you know seems to be undone, and you are adrift, without a map, without a compass to guide your steps. What you feel now is not just sadness, but an immense weight of hopelessness, a black cloud that refuses to dissipate. You may even question why you're living through this. Why does everything feel like a struggle, an endless battle? But even amid all of this, inside you, there is a place still searching for something, a glimmer of light trying to be noticed. Even if you can't see it now, even if the weight of darkness feels unbearable, the struggle, this experience of emotional darkness, may eventually lead you to discover your true strength. Because somewhere beyond the despair there is a chance for rebirth. You find yourself in the midst of a storm. Each wave of pain that hits you feels stronger than the last, and the weight of your own emotions is almost impossible to bear. Your mind, overwhelmed by the whirlwind of thoughts, searches for some foundation, some answer. Your heart, shattered by losses, frustration, and disillusionment, beats unevenly, seeking rest that seems unreachable. It is in this moment of deep suffering, of internal chaos, that you feel the silent call of faith. A soft voice, almost imperceptible, seems to emerge from somewhere beyond the pain, a whisper of hope that seeps through the cracks of despair. The search for refuge in faith doesn't come as a planned act, but as a visceral need, a longing to find something greater than yourself, something that can sustain you, that can help you navigate the chaos. It's not that you have all the answers or that instantly everything becomes clear. It's quite the opposite. The pain doesn't vanish and the confusion doesn't dissipate immediately. But at some point you feel a stir, an almost imperceptible urge to seek something that transcends your circumstances, to look for something that will support you when the world around you is crumbling. In this process of seeking comfort, you may even feel lost. The mind says, it's not worth it, while the heart cries, I need something. It's a silent battle, where you find yourself trying to balance what you see with what you feel. The comforting words that once felt empty now take on new meaning. Prayer, which might have once seemed distant or a formality, begins to feel like a shelter, a space for intimate dialogue between you and something greater. It's not a simple conversation. Sometimes it's just sighs, moments of silence, but in these moments, you start to feel a presence, as if something or someone is listening, even when you have no words to express your pain. Faith, in this phase of seeking, emerges as a safe harbor, not as an immediate solution to your problems, but as an emotional and spiritual anchor. It's like an invisible hand that reaches out in the midst of the storm, offering a sense that no matter how chaotic the moment, there is something within you that cannot be shaken. The simple act of believing, even when there are no clear answers, begins to bring a peace that transcends reason. Faith starts to become a refuge not because everything around you improves immediately, but because, somehow, it begins to calm the internal winds, giving a new rhythm to your racing heart. As you take refuge in God, you may begin to realize that pain, while still present, is not the only thing that defines your existence. You allow yourself to feel, but you also begin to understand that there is a greater purpose behind all the suffering. In the midst of the chaos, you discover a strength within yourself. A strength that doesn't come from you, but from something greater, from a divine love that, even in the darkness, never abandons you. The process is not easy nor linear, but there are moments of clarity that arise, unexpectedly, like rays of light in a cloudy sky. The true refuge you find in faith is not an escape from pain, but a way to face it with renewed courage. The pain doesn't disappear instantly, but it becomes more bearable because you feel the presence of something greater beside you, something that never abandons you, even in the darkest moments. Faith then begins to reveal itself not as a way out of problems, but as a way of living through them with a new understanding, a new perspective. It teaches you to trust not just in the solution, but in the process, to believe that, even in pain, there is a divine purpose being fulfilled. As you take refuge in your faith, the weight of suffering begins to be lightened by trust in something greater. The mind, once frantic, starts to find some peace, as if, with every prayer, with every moment of surrender, you are allowing God to do something new within you. The pain doesn't disappear, but faith starts to provide a deeper meaning to it, helping you carry the weight in a lighter way. The peace you seek doesn't come from an immediate resolution, but from the confidence that, even in the chaos, something is being done in you, something that is transforming you, preparing you for a new tomorrow. And as time passes and you allow yourself to find solace in your faith, you begin to notice that, although suffering hasn't disappeared, there's a lightness within you that wasn't there before. Something inside you begins to align. You start to understand that peace is not the absence of pain, but the ability to find calm in the midst of it, and that faith is not the denial of reality, but the acceptance that there is something beyond what the eyes can see, an invisible yet powerful force that guides you, strengthens you, and gives you refuge in the storm. You are in the middle of life's storm, with waves of suffering crashing against you, so high and relentless that every second it feels like you're about to be consumed. The weight of the pain is overwhelming. You feel as if you're being carried by a current you cannot control, and no matter how hard you try to swim, the feeling that everything is out of reach becomes unbearable. What once felt safe and steady in your life now disintegrates before your eyes, and fear becomes your only companion. Loneliness is a constant companion, and emptiness, a shadow that will not leave you. In this moment, you find yourself in a place where everything seems lost, where answers are few and strength is scarce. It's at this exact moment, when you no longer know what to do, that something surprising begins to happen. A soft, welcoming sensation, almost imperceptible at first, begins to surround you. This is the divine embrace. It's not something you see with your eyes, but something you feel deeply. It's as if the pain that once seemed unbearable begins to soften, as if an invisible presence wraps around your soul, enveloping your being with a warmth that cannot be described, only felt. It's the sensation of being protected by something much greater than you, something that doesn't judge you but receives you with open arms, exactly as you are, in your fragility, in your pain. God, who once seemed distant or abstract, now becomes a real, tangible, encompassing presence. This embrace doesn't require words because it transcends everything you could say or feel. It's a comfort that goes beyond human understanding. You feel the divine presence as a wave of peace that envelopes you completely. It's something that breaks through the barriers of your tired mind and wounded heart. The pain that seemed impossible to bear begins to ease, and the anxiety that consumed you starts to give way to an unexpected stillness. It's not peace that comes with the absence of pain, but peace that comes with the certainty that, despite everything, you are not alone. The divine embrace doesn't mean that your circumstances around you change immediately, but it brings a change within you, an internal transformation that strengthens you, calms you, and gives you the ability to breathe again, to believe, even when everything around you still seems uncertain. It's a deep comfort, one that no human being can offer. No matter how broken you are or how far you may feel from your faith, this divine embrace reaches you, wherever you are, with its immeasurable compassion. You begin to realize that there is no pressure to be perfect, no need to hide your wounds. God sees you, knows you, and receives you with a love that transcends all difficulties. You feel in every fiber of your being that you are being restored, not because your problems have disappeared, but because you've finally found something stronger than pain, God's unconditional love. The presence of God in this embrace is not just a temporary relief, but a restoring force. You begin to realize that no matter how dark the night is, the divine light never abandons you. It is present in your fragility, in your moments of despair. With every breath, you feel God's presence beside you, not as a distant force, but as a silent companion who understands you, calms you, and holds you even when you don't know where to go. He doesn't promise that the path will be easy, but assures you that with every step, He will be with you. This divine embrace is like a safe refuge, a place where you can pour yourself out, where you can drop all your masks, where you don't have to be strong all the time. In every silence, you hear the gentle whisper that everything will be okay, that the pain has a purpose, and that, in the end, everything will fall into place. This is the promise of the divine embrace. It's not an immediate solution to life's problems, but the certainty that as you face them, you are not alone. God's presence is an unconditional support, a silent and transforming force that holds you, strengthens you, and guides you to a place of healing. As you allow this embrace to surround you, you begin to realize the true magnitude of what you are experiencing. No matter how difficult the road is, because now you have a strength that cannot be seen, but that is real and powerful. The divine embrace is proof that even when everything seems lost, God's love never abandons you. He receives you, embraces you, restores you, and prepares you to move forward, with the certainty that even in the darkest hours there is always light. You are undoubtedly at a point in your life where the weight of the past feels unbearable. The darkness you've been submerged in, the endless nights of pain, and the suffering you've carried for so long begin to feel like an intrinsic part of who you are. Each day, the weight of doubt and sadness pushes you further into an endless abyss. You wonder if there will ever be a way out, if there's any light to guide your steps. And then, when hope seemed like nothing more than a distant memory, when the world around you seemed to crumble entirely, something changed. It wasn't a sudden snap, nor a miraculous transformation, but something deeper. It was the soft, unmistakable touch of the divine embrace. This touch, which came silently, began to restore something inside you. Not just comfort but renewal. The pain didn't vanish immediately and the challenges of life were still present, but now you felt something new, a lightness. A sense that, despite the scars, you could begin again. God, with His infinite grace, not only welcomed you in your pain but gave you a new beginning. The darkness that once surrounded you seemed to lose some of its power. The weight of hopelessness was softened by the gentle presence of faith. It was as though, being touched by this divine embrace, a faint light began to shine at the depths of your heart, illuminating the corners where darkness once hid. This renewal wasn't instant, but it was profound. It began with a simple breath of faith. With each small step you took toward trusting in God, something within you was restored. You realized that the pain you carried no longer defined who you were. There was something stronger, more enduring, rising within you. The hope, once nearly extinguished, began to rekindle. You started to see with new eyes. What once seemed impossible now seemed possible. What once felt like the end of a cycle now felt like a new beginning. This is where true renewal happens. It's not a superficial process, but something that affects your soul, your spirit, and your perspective on life. God didn't just restore your hope. He renewed your perspective on the purpose of your life. The divine embrace taught you that struggles are not the end, but a means of transformation. What once seemed like an irreparable loss now revealed itself as an opportunity for growth. The scars you carried, instead of marking you forever, became symbols of strength and resilience. Renewal in a new beginning is like the sunrise after a dark night. It's not just the return of light, but the promise that darkness will not last forever. With each new day, you begin to feel that the shadows of doubt are fading, and even when the storm resurfaces, you know that divine light will always be there to guide your steps. Renewal brings with it a new breath, a new strength that mixes with the wisdom you've gained from suffering. You feel more prepared, more aware of your worth, and more connected to your purpose. At this moment, it's important to understand that renewal isn't just an act of starting over, but a complete transformation of your essence. When you surrender to the divine process, when you allow God's grace to penetrate deeply, you are no longer the same person who was once lost in darkness. You are now someone restored, someone who has within them an invisible yet powerful strength. This renewal is spiritual, emotional, and even physical. It is the testimony that you are no longer a prisoner of your pain, but ready to live with a new purpose, with a new spirit. The new beginning God offers isn't just a chance to overcome past mistakes, but to rediscover who you truly are and what you were called to do. He rescues you not to leave you stagnant, but to launch you into a new chapter of your life, where hope is no longer an empty word, but a living certainty. What once seemed lost now becomes an opportunity for growth and transformation. You are being renewed each day. This new beginning, this new breath of life, is not just a temporary comfort. It is a divine invitation to live fully, to see the world through a new lens, to love and believe again. It is a chance to finally find the peace and joy that for so long seemed unreachable. By allowing God to be your refuge, by surrendering to His embrace, you are embracing renewal and the hope of a future filled with infinite possibilities. In the hustle and bustle of life, when the noise of the world seems deafening and the pressures of everyday life weigh down on your shoulders, you may begin to feel as though you are alone. The difficulties seem to intensify, and the feeling of being lost or helpless becomes a constant companion. But even in the midst of this turmoil, one truth remains unshaken and often unseen: God's continual presence is with you always. You may not recognize it at the moment when pain or chaos strikes, but He is there by your side. Not only in times of crisis or suffering as you may often think, but in every step of your journey, in every breath you take. God is not a distant figure, waiting for a moment of great despair to intervene. He is with you in every instant, silently present, offering His strength, wisdom, and unconditional love, even when you can't see Him. Have you ever stopped to reflect on the small signs He has sent throughout your life? That sudden sense of peace in the middle of chaos, the unexpected answer to a prayer, or even that casual encounter that somehow brought an answer to a deep question. These moments, often unnoticed, are divine touches manifesting in subtle but powerful ways. He is not limited to great miracles or moments of distress but is present in every detail of your life, guiding you, protecting you, supporting you. On those days when nothing seems to make sense, when uncertainties pile up and the journey feels harder, God continues to walk by your side. He is there, not to remove the obstacles but to give you the strength to face them. His divine intervention is not limited to the grand or spectacular, but reveals itself in the constancy of His support, in the patience with which He guides you, and in the silent comfort you feel in moments of despair. He is present not only at the peaks of your life but also in the deepest valleys, when everything seems to be falling apart. You may not see Him with your physical eyes, but faith allows you to perceive His presence in every circumstance. It reminds you that you are not alone, even when everything around you seems to say otherwise. What God offers you is not a promise of a life without hardships, but the assurance that in every struggle He will be by your side, giving you strength when you don't know how to move forward, and renewing your hope when the darkness seems endless. Faith in God is not an escape from difficulties but the trust that even when we cannot see, He is there, guiding and sustaining. He is not a God who only answers your prayers when you're in crisis. He is a God who walks with you every step, every decision, every sigh. In every moment of your life He is empowering you, teaching you, shaping you. Even in the times when you feel you have no strength to continue, when emotional and spiritual battles seem too intense, remember, you are not fighting alone. God's presence is not something that comes and goes. It is constant, unchanging. With every dawn, you are reminded of His faithfulness, even when the weight of the world feels too much. He is the rock you can lean on, the source of strength that never runs dry, the peace that fills your heart when everything around you is in turmoil. And it is in the certainty of His continual presence that you find the strength to move forward. The trust that God is with you not only in victories but also in defeats, not only in moments of joy but also in moments of pain. His presence gives you the courage to face any situation, the wisdom to make decisions in times of uncertainty, and the peace to calm your mind in moments of turmoil. When you feel lost, directionless, or when challenges seem insurmountable, remember that the divine presence does not depend on your awareness. It is not limited to moments of crisis. God is always by your side, with an eternal and unchanging love, sustaining you every step of your journey. And as you grow in faith, you begin to notice His presence more and more in every detail of your life, until one day you realize you were never alone. God has always been there, silently guiding you, supporting you in the invisible. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope today's words have touched your heart and brought new understanding about the constant presence of God in our lives. Remember, you are never alone, and faith in His presence is what gives us the strength to move forward, no matter the difficulties we face along the way. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with those you believe may benefit from this message, and comment below what touched your heart the most. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, as we are together on this journey of faith and transformation. Thank you for being part of this community. May God continue to bless your walk, and see you in the next video.